And how do you live your faith in these days? And how does that, the intensity, you don't want the painful experiences to be reminding you of your faith, but how do you live your faith as norm and as life?
Faith is a relationship for us. It's a daily relationship, a daily choice, and that encompasses everything that we do. So for me, whether it's talking with my children or just being with them, being present in the moment with them, helping them to understand, helping to get patience myself when things are not going so well, living it just one step at a time, 1 minute at a time. Faith doesn't take away any pain. But I learned that pain doesn't kill you. You know, that grief and that heartbreak, it doesn't kill you. It makes you stronger. Not that, you know, that's a platitude that we don't like to hear, but it does make you stronger.
With that strength, and then you have 5 kids?
I've got three of my own, yeah.
And you took a decision to homeschool your kids. And when was that decision, and then what were the circumstances? What made you conclude that you have to homeschool your kids?
I wasn't going to homeschool. I came out of homeschooling myself with the idea that that was just for nutters and crazy people. And then I became that myself. So my second child, she's got a disability, and we initially enrolled her in a education support program, and it's the best the government can offer. It's about we were told it's a $300,000 a year placement, and there was 5 teachers to 7 students, and our experiences with that were really not good. I would go so far as to label it abusive, but the government can only do so much. So we enrolled Abby in this program, and I didn't want to be one of those parents that just creates chaos wherever they go. So I asked the speech therapist to come along on an observation day and tell me what she thought. And she said, "This is terrible, pull her out right now." I was like, well, what am I going to do with her? And she's like, "Oh, homeschool her." I was like, "I can't do that. I can't homeschool her. This is way too hard." And she said, "Oh, I'll help you." And so to her credit, she did. She got me started. And that was the beginning. I thought, if I'm homeschooling one, I might as well homeschool the others as well.
Wow. And how is that experience of homeschooling and parenting marrying together?
I think it's easier if you start from the beginning. I do think that makes a big difference, because school at home is not the same as going to school. You don't do the same things, you don't have the same routines, and it's different for every family. So for us, it's changed over the years, and as they've gotten older, it's been easier to make more routines and all the rest of it, and I've gotten better at it. I used to have a meltdown at the beginning of every term, crying and say, "I can't do this, I can't do this." But every term it would get better. Incrementally it would get better. And we've really enjoyed the journey so far.
In traditional schooling and homeschooling, your kids would socialize with kids who are traditionally schooled versus homeschooled as well, as they make friends. So what do you see the differences broadly between the traditional schooling and homeschooling?
I think it depends what you make it. I mean, once upon a time, particularly in Australia, homeschooling was largely limited to white Christian families who wanted that choice, and I think a lot of our homeschool culture came from the US, but now it's very, very diverse, and people homeschool for all different reasons. There's Muslim homeschool communities, there's Christian homeschool communities, there's unschooling communities, there's all sorts out there, and they all homeschool for different reasons, whether that's religious reasons and faith, or whether it's because their child was bullying or because they were travelling. There's lots of different reasons that people homeschool now. We used to be quite isolated and insular because of Abby's disabilities. We couldn't get out and do a lot, but I know that there's co-ops where people come from several hundred kilometres to meet every Wednesday, and they've got waiting lists of 80 families long to try and get into these co-ops because they're so popular with the local homeschool communities.
Wow.